Welcome to the second ABP Community Talks. We are excited to make this event, and we, as a reminder, we have decided to organize an event in every month about the happenings on the ABP framework and the ABP platform. So in this talk, we will talk about the new ABP version 5.1, and also we will mainly talk about the ABP microservice example we were working on for a while. This is called eShopOnAbp. This is an example reference solution similar to Microsoft's eShopOn containers application. Okay, let's start with the news about the ABP platform. The first news is about the new ABP design. If you have visited the ABP websites today, you will see a difference. Now you see that we have completely renewed the design of ABP platform websites. Let's check it like that. We have been working on that new design for a while, for a few months, and now it's live. This is the ABP Framework website, and this is the ABP community website that we share some articles and video posts related to ABP Framework. Our core ABP development team and also community is contributing to this contents. And finally, ABP Commercial is also completely renewed as a design. So you can check and you can comment about our new design on Twitter, or you can just send email to us about our new design. The second thing I want to mention is the new ABP Framework version 5.1. This was actually a maintenance release. It's based on ABP 5.0. One of the important changes, we are moving the Angular 13 with this release. In the previous one, we have stayed with the Angular 12 for a few reasons, but now we are migrating to 13. If you want to still stick with the Angular 12, you can still do that with just a few configuration in your solution. You can continue with ABP Angular 12. Another new change, or actually a new feature coming with the new ABP Framework version, is the new hosting model. Now, when you create a new application startup template, it will use the minimalist API hosting model. And as a result of this model, we are now supporting asynchronous startup lifecycle methods. Like, when you derive from ABP module class to create your own module, you have configure services method, on application initialization method, and so on. Now, there are async versions of all these methods, so you can just override async versions and perform some async operations more safely than before. Let's make a quick demo about that. This is an ABP Framework solution created with the new version. Now you see that we have on application initialization. Assume that we want to call an asynchronous API here. Previously, you should do it like that. For example, on application initialization works when the dependency injection registration was completed and your application is being started. So now we can resolve any service from dependency injection here. So context.service provider get required service. For example, we may want to seed database. So we can resolve by data seeder service of the ABP framework. And then we can call data seeder.seed async method. Here you see, if we write await here, it won't work because this method is not async. Previously, our only option is to use something like, get result, or actually you could use async helper, which is better of ABP framework. Async helper is used to run asynchronous methods in a synchronous context. So we can use data seeder dot seed async like that. Now we are running an async method in a sync context, so it handles that. But this is not a good practice actually. So now it's possible to override on application initialization async method in your module class on application initialization async. Here, this method can be async. Now I can move all the application initialization logic to that new async method, and I can just remove the old synchronous method. Now, instead of using async helper here, I can just call data seeder seed async using the await keyword. That's one of the usage example of new asynchronous lifecycle methods for the module classes. It's same for configure services and all other methods. So you can override async version. Be careful that don't override both of the async and sync versions, because if you override the async version, it will work, and the sync version will not work. Okay, I am getting a comment about the resolution. I think it should be okay now. Okay, one another topic is related to the Leptonix team. This is one of the weighted feature we know from the community. We are taking a good progress, and this Leptonix team will be versioned separate from the ABP framework. So we think we will be releasing this in a few weeks as a separate release from the ABP framework. This team will have two versions. The Leptonix Lite team will be open source and will be free, and the Leptonix team, this will be a part of ABP commercial. So we are taking a good progress. I want to just inform you about that. Another new feature that is not actually explained is in this document, but now we have created in the patch release, actually, we have created a new startup template that consists of a single layer. When you create a new application with the ABP framework, you have a layered architecture based on domain-driven design layers. Now, we are also providing a non-layered application model. This may be good for small or simple applications, and also for non-experienced developers. We know that some developers are getting familiar with DDD with the ABP framework, and it can be hard at the beginning. So we have created another startup template. Currently, it only supports MVC UI and the framework core. So after upgrading to ABP latest version, you can just write ABP new to the app, for example, as a project name, and the template name as app no layers. This is the name of new template. Maybe we can change it later, but for now, this is the name of the template. When you create that, you will have a single CSProj file here. If you open that in Visual Studio or Rider, you will see a let me view. Yeah, the presentation mode would be better. Okay, you see that the new templates solution explorer, you see that there is only a single project, even there is no test project yet. We may add in the future. But with this new project, you see there is a program CS file and a startup module that installs actually all the same modules with the regular startup template. We have some entities folder, localization, database migrations, some object mapping configuration. We have a DB context class here, just as before, but here all in the same project. We have some UI pages, application service, and DTOs. There is no service and DTO yet. This is a startup template. You just add your own DTOs and services here. And it's almost empty. However, when you run that, you will see the same result with a regular ABP Framework project. Let me run that. Okay, actually, I did already run, but I will run from scratch. Okay, it's running. The result is completely same with the layered project. It's executing database seed at the beginning. We will remove that because database seed at the startup takes a long time for now. Anyway, it will start in a few seconds.
What about module supporting? Can I use all of the modules in this template?
Yeah, actually, I was about to show that. I have already installed all the standard modules like permission management, identity server, feature tenant management, and so on. So all the functionality is same. Yeah, it started. Okay, let me zoom. Now I can log into the application just as before. All the multi-tenancy and so on works as expected. So I have role management page. This is an MVC UI. User management page, tenant management, settings, and everything works as expected. But when you open the solution, you will see a very minimalistic startup template with just a few classes and folders to develop your application. We will be preparing some tutorials to demonstrate how to build application on top of that.
Also, people can use commercial modules they can install.
Yeah.
Works like...
For now, this startup template is experimental actually, and only in the open source side. But we will also create the commercial version of that with the ABP commercial modules already installed. Okay, let's continue with the another topic. Okay, I want to mention from the ABP community articles. As I said, we have completely renewed the ABP community. You can see the new articles and video posts here. You can follow the next version progress in the homepage. Let's see a few examples. First example article is coming from Anto Subash. This shows how to create a minimal API with the ABP framework. It's a 3-part tutorial. It's a video tutorial actually. When you click the go to the post button, you will see a video on YouTube. So there is also instructions related to how you can do it from scratch. So this shows how to install ABP Framework to an empty ASP.NET Core solution and create your own application on top of that. Another article I want to mention is from Engin. He has created an article to show Sync Fusion components using with the ABP Framework MVC UI. It shows step-by-step installing the Sync Fusion controls and using with the ABP Framework by building a fully working full-stack application. Okay, another topic is related to the coming ABP book. Maybe you already know that, but I want to mention 1 minute. I have created a book for the ABP Framework. It's called Mastering the ABP Framework. You can pre-order now from Amazon. It is completely finished, but the editorial work is in progress, and it will be available very soon. So you can pre-order now. Finally, I want to mention the main topic of this talk. It's the eShopOnAbp project. Galip and Enis will be presenting this project in a few minutes. Just to say a few words before their talk, eShopOnAbp is actually a clone of eShop on containers, and there is already another project with Dapper. Maybe you know eShop on Dapper. We thought that we can create another similar project that's built complete on the ABP framework to demonstrate how it's easier to create such a solution with the ABP framework instead of creating everything from scratch, just like the eShop on containers project. We have created something visible now and something demonstrable. Now we will show that, and later we will continue with guides, examples, and use cases based on that project. So we have a lot of road, but we have taken a lot of steps also. It consists of, it's a typical e-commerce application. End users purchase a products, add products to their baskets, and finally purchases. We have also integrated with PayPal as a real implementation, so it can be an example with the PayPal integration is a good feature. And also we have created a reusable payment module within this solution. This solution has two applications. One of that is for the end users purchasing products. The second one is a back office application. It's built with Angular UI, and it's for back office users to manage products, change product prices and pictures and so on. So we have two API gateways following the backend for front-end pattern here, and a few microservices behind these gateways. Some microservices using PostgreSQL database, one of them using MongoDB as an example, and the last one, the basket service, is using Redis as a temporary cache or temporary database. How do you say? That's all about the solution. Now I am redirecting talk to Galip to start this presentation. So Galip, yeah, you can continue.
Before we get started, I would like to ask, shall we get the questions about prior of this eShopOnAbp, or we shall answer?
I think, we can check questions. For example, how can we use multiple application in ABP platform? Multiple application. I don't understand. But if you are mentioning about multiple web applications, yeah, it's already will be visible in this talk. eShopOnAbp, for example, have multiple UI application. How about adding source code of the standard modules in the no layer template? Is possible? Yeah, actually, you can replace with source code. it will be manually for now. You can download and replace package references with source code references. So it will work. So no problem. I think there is no more question yet. Galip, you can continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
there is
was
a comment
with my mic.
about please increase your voice. Yeah, he says louder.
So we can go on with eShopOnAbp. As you remember, we also talked about eShopOnAbp that we have started to develop as a reference application for demonstrating how to build an e-commerce, how to build a sample microservice using ABP template. And here we are. We just completed our first phase of our roadmap, and we want to show it to you as how it works out. This is our agenda for today. We will talk about overall architecture, how our application solution is built, and what is the components. We will talk about web application where the users add products to their basket. We will talk about HTTP request anatomy, what's happening behind the lines, and we will go on with some business logics and such. Let's first talk about our application side, what happens when you just fork or clone our repository, and let's talk about what you get. This will be our solution directory, and you see this eShopOnAbp solution is the root solution we use. So we have application apps directory, we have gateway directory, services, shared directory that will be presented in eShopOnAbp solution. So each of the application, as we have Halil also mentioned, we have an Angular backups application, public web application, and an old server application. They all have their own individual solutions, except the Angular application, of course. They have all their own solution files, so you can individually develop your own application or divide your teams to build their own application, their sites. So it's the same with this microservices as well. As you can see, we have microservices. 2 of them are for infrastructure and 4 of them for business, such as catalog, basket, ordering, and payment. Each of the microservices has their own solution with their source and test layers, so they can be individually developed. When we open one of the application services, it will just look like this. What happened to my, I don't know what happened to my shortcuts, but it should be.
Sometimes it doesn't work.
Like this. Okay. Each of the microservices had their own layers from application, domain, HTTP layer, HTTP API client, runnable HTTP API hosts, and their database with their test applications. So what about our root application? What happens in the root application? Let's check the root application. And this is our root application. Can be found under the main directory. It contains under microservice API host applications under services, which are the running applications. They just expose trigger endpoints. We have 2 gateways. Each one of them is the web for admin application, one for the public web gateway. And we have 2 applications, identity server, authentication server, and the public web. The shared folder is used for the abstraction of each of the services, either or the gateway or the applications dependent libraries. So let's talk more about let's talk more about our public web application and what's happening when we just turn on our application. Let's just get started with how we just start this application when we just first clone it. When you get this application, we recommend using Thai for running the application. We also provide related Thai YAML file with the related PowerShell scripts. If you don't know Thai, Thai is a Microsoft's, it was experimental, I think, but it's now live for development. It can run multiple applications, .NET applications, Kestrel applications with .NET run command. It's a very nice tool for developing, especially distributed systems. If you don't want to use it, you can also use any Visual Studio Rider. You can just use the Docker infrastructure we already provide you. The infrastructure files containing databases running on containers, RabbitMQ, Redis, and PostgreSQL pgadmin for DB management if you require. So I got them up already. When I just run this runtime file, it just gets all the infrastructure services such as databases and such in Docker containers, and also runs all the applications. After running this run application, you will just see something hanging like this. If you are not familiar with, this means we are already running all the applications, and you will end up with an UI in localhost 8000 with the Thai UI. This is a Blazor server UI supplied by Thai team. So you can see the running applications can be seen with their types. So we are running an authentication server, identity service, administrative service, and such. So let's see, for example, our catalog service. And we can just navigate to this binding, and you can see whenever you make a change. If you are watching, and whenever you can make a change, it and dependent projects will get restarted. So it makes a great tool for development. Also, you can check the logs if the application is running or what's happening on the application side. Let's check our catalog service. And also, let's check a gateway. Or check whichever you wish. As you can see, this is our catalog service endpoint. This is for basket service. And this is the public web gateway. So you can authorize and make authenticated requests through the API, through the Swagger UI. And this is a public web gateway. These definitions are found by whichever Ocelot gateway is redirected to. They are added automatically to the definition endpoints. They are all individually their own Swagger clients already inserted into database from identity server. So you can also use directly the gateway itself.
Galip,
let's check out our public web application.
Galip, can you hear me?
And our admin application. Okay, our admin application is
not this
Angular application, so we just run it by yarn start under Angular folder. Okay, we did that, and let's see what happens in admin application and what happens in our public application. Our public application is the I'm sorry.
I couldn't hear. Can you hear me right now?
Let me check. I think there's a problem with my audio.
Galip, can you hear me? You can't hear me?
I think no.
Okay, I can hear you now.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. What happened? No one was hearing me. Don't tell me no one was hearing me.
You couldn't hear me for a while? Okay.
Whoa.
Okay, can you open the Thai dashboard again?
Whoa.
And open the one of the gateways?
Sure, let's go with public gateway.
Just URL.
Oh, sorry.
Open the
Go
URL.
binding, yeah.
Okay. Okay, maybe we have missed that.
Yeah.
Okay, this is gateway.
Yeah, this is a gateway. This is a
Okay.
public web gateway. As we
Gateways
can,
are used to group microservices and provide a single API endpoint for the front ends. We have also could be able to do that to put a Swagger UI to the gateway homepage. So when you open the gateway URL, you see a Swagger UI, and you can able to see all the microservices behind this API gateway. This is an important development because this is naturally not available when you go with standard development. We have worked on that. We have found a solution. Now we can able to see all the microservices behind this gateway. We can also test all these services. Even it requires authentication, we can just authorize this service with a username and password, and we can test all the microservices that are exposed with this gateway. I think this is a good feature for exploring services.
yeah.
Yeah, you can continue. I just wanted to highlight this feature.
Glad you did, or else I was just thinking about everyone listening. Okay, by the way, I can talk about the account service API as well here, since we didn't mention any microservice about an account service. Yes, there is none. Identity server itself, the authentication server itself, exposes some endpoints. It's also an API resource, so it also exposes some of the endpoints. That's why this is the account service. It's called account service as a resource. So identity server itself is also an application, both application and then API resource. So this out of the way. Now we can talk about our public application and see what happens. So I just entered this website.
This public application consumes all of the services, right?
This public application contains all the services. Yeah, calls all the services.
Services
basically
provided by public gateway.
Yeah, this directly talks with the public web gateway and makes requests through the gateway. We'll demonstrate better on the slides. I will just demonstrate the use cases first. Then we will just break this into pieces and move on that.
Yeah, it's better to show the user interface first to understand the application functionality better. Then we dive in details.
Yeah, as you can see, I just added a few items and I can see in here, and oops, it's gone. Okay, let's just go back to our application and boom, they are still here.
Don't worry, session continues, don't worry.
Yeah, let's go and wow, I can change it in here and let's complete our stuff. Yeah, okay, free cargo seems fine. Let's complete the purchase. By the way, we just logged in. Maybe we can show it better.
Yeah, we have logged in before.
Yeah, we have to. Let's add some stuff. Let's go complete our purchase. We are just redirect back to our authentication server. Since we need to be authenticated to complete our purchase. And by the way, also I had some units in my cart, so they got merged. And let's complete our, let's select PayPal since it's cool. But let's make the payment over Poland because of some reasons. Let's complete our PayPal payment and see what happens. Wow, our order is received already with a generated order number. We have paid some money to some sandbox, and we can see our orders. You can see this is the one and this one. When Halil was talking, so I did this not to see a blue screen. Okay, this is basically how it works, but this is everyone does this. So let's see something cooler. let's say I added some stuff in my cart, and let's not forget about our cool admin side. This is Electronics Lite team, and I think this is the first demonstration as an application in here. This is our admin side, back office application running on localhost 4000. Maybe, yeah, we can show it like this way. You can, let's just log in.
Okay, this is another application built within the same solution. So this is for back office users of the e-commerce system. Okay.
Yeah,
Here
this
is
is
a
not
demonstration
in solution file. This is a separate Angular application. You cannot see
Yeah,
it in solution file.
You are correct. It was located under apps folder, the Angular folder itself. So I just run yarn start under this folder. By the way, you can see it hosts its own login page in its own. So the client hosts its own.
Yeah, it's using resource owner password flow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, technically speaking.
Technically speaking, this is resource owner, and this is very easy to change. Just one line code to change it.
To change it to authorization code flow.
Yeah, if you wonder, I will just show it after the demo.
No, it's just more technical.
Some people want an ABP t-shirt. Yeah, you are right. You already have.
Yeah, just show us. Just show us
Yeah.
your ABP.
I don't have.
Wow. Okay, let's see our products. As you can see, we have some products in here. What we bought already? We have a printer, right? Let's find. Yeah, let's see. We have this printer. Very nice discount. And let's make the discount. And boom, our cart is updated.
So how this happens?
Some black ABP magic. Some of them call it already SignalR, using SignalR, and also service-to-service asynchronous communication between service. And we also end up using SignalR for informing the UI. We will just break down and talk about them.
So that means when we change a feature of a property of a product, like a price, all the products in the baskets for every user can be automatically updated in real time.
Yeah.
Okay, you can continue.
So let's go on and talk about how this happens. Let's break it down and see what's going on. So let's start first of all with how is possible to show this product from catalog service to this public web application. Maybe it's a let's talk about it after I show this. As you can see, the UI, the public web application contains Vue components. We write them as a Vue component. So one of them is this from the product Vue component. We just use product list from the catalog service, and we have a cart tool Vue component located under the toolbar. But we will just mention and talk about the catalog, how we get it. We just use the iPublic product app service.
Galip, if we didn't use ABP Framework, how would we do that? For example, we could just create an HTTP client on the web application, configure URL, perform the HTTP call using a try-catch statement to catch errors, serialize DTOs, deserialize, handle errors, and do some authorization maybe, and so on. There are a lot of work that's repeated in in every application. So ABP, I think ABP automates that with dynamic C# client proxy system. Actually, we are using the static one, but it's not much difference. So ABP's C# client proxies almost automates to call from the web application to a microservice through to API gateway easily.
Yeah, exactly. Like this application service is already existed in the web application, in the public web application itself. So we can just call service from it. So let's talk more about the anatomy of an HTTP request, about, as you mentioned, what's going on. So when we make a request, we just happen to make a request to get list method of this public web application, public application service from the index page, right? This is how it looks like. I will just show you the code. And this is simply what we do. So what happens here is first, how are we able to, first of all, how do we able to reach this endpoint? This public product app service namespace can be found under catalog service, right? It's itself completely different in a different project. So it's completely in a different microservice, can be found in different projects. So if we just edit directly, we make the application completely dependent on it. Instead of it, we just use HTTP API client. This is not much used in our samples, mostly in tiered applications. We use this, but a microservice template is or the microservice example is a very nice sample for how this HTTP API client is used. Some of our community members were asking, what is this HTTP API client used for? This HTTP API client implements application contracts. It references to application contracts. So by adding this, we are referencing, we are now able to make this call. But the implementation won't be able to be found, so it will check for a default remote service. This is the C# static proxy side. So we make a request to the remote service. It means that, okay, I'm just making a get list request, find this in an HTTP client, find it in somewhere. So that somewhere is configured in this default remote service. So public web application configures public web gateway. This means we are using Ocelot. Whatever you need to make a request, just make the request to the gateway. And gateway checks the incoming UI and redirects. All gateway does is redirecting based on the request. So it reroutes to the catalog service. If we make an authorized request, let's say if the catalog service, the request we are making is authorized, it makes validation. It makes a request for the identity server to authenticate token. If it requires a permission, it also checks if the permission is granted already for this request, server-to-server request. These all the data already seeded by the identity server itself when the identity server is getting started. So identity server data is seeded by the identity server. This works by two ways. So to be able to make a request to the catalog service, I should already be added the catalog service API scope to my OADC configuration. I know this is a complicated part about identity server and such, but authentication between distributed systems is a complicated matter, and I don't know how to simplify it more. But simply, we are using identity server for this environment. For both clients, the public web application, and the resource needs to be registered in the authentication server, and this registration is done by the identity server seeder in the identity service. And we can talk more about when it's done. So this is basically what happens when I hit F5 in the index page. So let's just see the public web application index page, right? Let's see what's going on. So this is the index page. As you can see, we have a public product app service. So this app service has namespace from the catalog service products. So to make it work, we have added HTTP client of our catalog service and all other HTTP request service, and we add it to our web module also for depends on attribute catalog service HTTP API client, and also edit these scopes, catalog service scope. This is the API scope name in the identity server seeder. And that's it. Other stuff was about remote services. Default, as you can see, we set a remote service, which one was the API gateway, and this is set in here. So
this is the public gateway, right?
Yeah, this is the public gateway. We say, okay, as default, just go to this endpoint. And that's all. API gateway just checks, let's see what public web gateway does and checks, okay, there's some incoming stuff to me and it's related with the API catalog. And so redirect them to this endpoint.
This is a classic configuration of Ocelot, right?
An Ocelot configuration, yeah, exactly. And we have some also timeouts and other configurations in here. So this is basically it.
Yeah, we are also considering to add Envoy as an alternative
Yeah.
API gateway in the future to make an example of different example.
Yeah, I can also think about the incoming questions already about gRPC Envoy. Yeah, we will answer them when you ask them. But yeah, they are on our roadmap.
Questions.
They are on our roadmap. We will think about them. Yes, Mr. Anil, they are all Ocelot configurations, nothing fancy. They are different Ocelot configurations. Now let's talk about adding a product to the basket, and let's talk about what is this ABP static proxy on JavaScript side. Let's see how it gets started first. Let's see what happens. We just click to add to basket, and it gets updated. We just add something, and we add a product to basket. So the in this case, the trigger is from the JavaScript itself. So how does the JavaScript knows where to go and what to do? So let's talk about it. When we make this request, this is done from the JavaScript. I shall answer the questions after the presentation. Please take note about your questions. So let's say when we make the request, we use YARP, yet another reverse proxy. Maybe Halil, you want to talk about it?
Yeah. Actually, when you call JavaScript, when you call an HTTP API from your JavaScript code to your web application, generally your HTTP API will not be available in the web application because it's available in the API gateway actually, and it's expected to be called from your C# code in your web application. However, when you do a JavaScript call to directly to API gateway, is actually may not be wanted in some cases. Maybe because of security, maybe to not expose two endpoints to your JavaScript client. In any way, when you call your API gateway from JavaScript, you directly call the web application. Actually, it redirects all the requests to application API gateway. So the YARP project, this is Microsoft's library, yet another reverse proxy is called like that. It redirects all requests, all API requests to API gateway. Then everything works as expected from the API gateway. So it makes a blind redirection from all requests from your JavaScript code to your API gateway.
Yeah, maybe some of newcomers here and don't know how our...
It's an implementation detail for now. They can just check what is YARP.
As you can see, our services are available from JavaScript as well as a JavaScript client. So you can make a request from JavaScript to microservices using the API gateway. We, as Halil said, we just use YARP to direct the JavaScript request to the gateway. So whenever we make the request with this payload, we just use an anonymous ID. Through the public web gateway, we just make a request to the basket service, and basket service uses integration service such as I named iBasket product and makes a request to catalog service. Now, we all have a product ID and anonymous ID. Anonymous ID is the user ID we just generate, since the user can be anonymous when we enter our application, as I have shown. We want users to be able to add stuff to their basket, and we just want them to be authenticated when they are about to complete their purchase. So we just send a related product ID and the anonymous user ID. So the basket service need to make a request to the catalog service to get the detail about the product, right? So how is it done? Is of course the same with the static proxy. We use ABP proxy again. Remember, how can we make a request between microservices? This is a sample for the synchronized server-to-server communication between microservices. This is where we make a request from basket service to the catalog service using catalog service HTTP API client. We are using a catalog interface, catalog service interface, and checking the implementation, making a request to the catalog service.
Yeah, and also I want to add one more thing. A basket service actually catches the product information in the Redis to not rapidly consume catalog service. So it uses an internal copy of the products for a while. It's also registered to basket service, catalog service events for the product change, and it refresh its cache based on the domain events. Not domain events, distributed events, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, it's another topic. You can continue. Sorry.
It goes with the same, by the way. If it's authenticated request, it needs to check if the requester, the client, in this case, it will be a basket service, if it has a related permissions or the authentication in it. So after this complete, it will just get stored with the user ID to the Redis cache, with the anonymous user ID to the Redis to basket service database, and return the related data. So after it is done, when the JavaScript request is completed, we will just refresh this cart widget, and widget will be updated, as you can see in here. Nothing there, since we already have it, and you can see. Maybe this may be a question about how it works. We talked about how to know. We are not using an internal gateway, so how does basket service know where the catalog service is? Maybe it's a good way if I just show it. Since we use the default endpoint, default configuration for basket, making a request to the catalog, as you can see, we just specify the catalog, specify the service name, microservice name, and the URL. So we don't need to use an internal gateway. So it will make a direct request to the microservice.
So ABP gets that configuration on runtime to know where the catalog service is located.
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, if we are running this application in a container environment like Kubernetes, it will be actually the service name.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can easily override it as well from the Kubernetes down to the container. So let's go on with completing a purchase, and let's see what's going on. The basket page is provided from user basket provider. We create a user basket provider, which just makes a request with the anonymous user ID. If the user is not authenticated, makes a simple request about getting a user basket to the public web gateway, and public gateway redirects the basket service, and simply it returns the basket DTO, and that's it. If, let's say, what happens if the user is logged in or redirected to login after completing purchase, it will just redirect to login. When we are logged in, the request will be done to merge the baskets. So the baskets will be merged, and we will have a nice user experience about not losing our anonymous important stuff. This is how it works. Maybe we can make a simple. Yeah, we have 4 items. Let's log out. And let's add PlayStation 4. Why? Because we cannot find PlayStation 5, no stocks anywhere. Let's add TV. And let's go. Okay, let's log in. Or
So you have two items in your cart. You have And now
Yeah, we had
have
4.
6
Now
of them.
we have 6 items.
Yeah.
And
Your
you can
baskets
complete
are
your
merged.
Yeah, it's already merged, so we have a merged basket. It's very simple. Let's talk about payment, and I want to leave this to you, Enis.
Yeah, I can explain about payment.
Enis, we see your screen now.
Okay. Okay, sorry. I can go back. This is so fast. I couldn't catch you. Okay, let's start from beginning. How the payment is done in our example. So we are we will see placing placing order, cleaning basket, payment types and process, and accepting an order. These steps how we will see how they be done in eShopOnAbp. In a public web app, everything starts from public web application, as you know. We have a user address provider in that screen you saw before. We get user addresses and the basket provided by user basket provider, and the payment methods comes from payment type provider. Each of provider sends request to another service, another microservice, and brings data into single page. So before creating an order, before making a payment, we have to create an order. Creating an order starts in public web application. It sends a request, creating order request over web API, over web gateway to ordering service, and we will get an payment type, payment request ID after creating a payment request. That means there is no payment, there's no payment created, just a request we created. Then means order is placed and we will publish an event. I'm sorry, order created. Created event to service bus, and basket service listens that event. So okay, order is placed and I can clear the basket of user. The basket service handles the event and clears the basket. This is the first step of making a purchase, making a checkout. You have to create order first, and that order created by a status, a waiting status, because there's no purchase yet. And second step is creating a payment request. Before making a payment, we have to create a request, payment request. So it's same again. The public web application creates a payment request over web gateway and sends a request to payment source. And payment source creates a payment request entity, payment request object, and returns the checkout. Sorry. Okay. It creates a payment request entity and returns the payment request ID. So public web application knows about that payment request ID and sends another request that is start payment request, because we have different providers such as PayPal, and right now demo, maybe in future we will have much more providers, but we have to pay with PayPal, and we have to start a payment request with a provider. So it sends a start request with a provider, which is PayPal right now, and it creates and returns a checkout link. Then the public web application should redirect to the link to make user pay. And user can pay in that page. After the payment in the PayPal, in that case, it redirects again to our public web application. And
I
public
think
web
you need
application,
some sort of token, right? And it's when
yeah,
the third party
yeah, exactly.
interaction is done. Same with the Stripe as well. I think you get a token or something like that.
Yes, most of providers returns back our callback URL with a token or ID or some secret to validate the payment. And our public web application handles that token and sends that token to our payment service, again using our gateway, public gateway. And it does not do anything with that token. for security reasons and sends that token exactly directly to our payment service, and payment service checks that token and gets the status of payment and updates the entity, payment request entity, successful or failed, which one is comes from payment provider, which one is validated by payment provider, and then publish an event according to result. If result is successful, it will publish an payment request completed ETO. If it's failed, it will publish payment request failed ETO over RabbitMQ, our service bus. Then ordering service listens that event, and when that event handled, ordering service updates its order status. In that case, we listed payment request completed event. Then this event is handled. When this event is handled, order status will be updated as completed, as paid, not complete, as paid, and you can see that payment in your dashboard as paid. Okay, the payment is successful. And after that operation, ordering service publishes another event, order accepted ETO, because this order is accepted. Okay, the payment is received. And catalog service listens that event and updates stock, also decreases stock of purchased items, purchased products, and all operations is done in that step. I can show you how does it happen. Okay, tie is running. Sorry, why it doesn't run? Okay, it's running. Let's start with public web application. Sorry, what is the problem? I think everything works.
Everything works on my machine.
Okay, everything. Okay, it worked. It worked. I think it's a temporary problem. I think, but I know it's working on your machine. Okay, let's add something into the cart. Okay. Also, I cleared all of the data. Already logged in. I'm skipping that steps because Galip already showed us. Let's completing a purchase. At that step, this is the beginning of a payment process. Selected address. This address list comes from server address provider, but this is a static data. We haven't implemented it yet. User address provider. This is a mocked static data. We will implement it later, maybe. And you have to choose an address, and you have to choose a payment method. Payment method comes from payment service. As you can see, we have implemented a strategy pattern here. Maybe I can make it bigger. I think it's bigger enough right now. This is ordering service, sorry.
Yeah, can you please delete? Okay.
Okay, we have implemented strategy pattern. Yeah, you are right. We have an interface which named iPayment method, and we have two of implementation. Also, you can see the implementations here. We have two of implementation. PayPal method implements that interface, and demo payment method implements that interface. Also, our request app service, payment request app service uses a resolver, payment method resolver, and that resolver decides which payment method will be used. So, you are right.
Means we can add more payment providers later easily.
Yeah, exactly. Easily, we can easily add or we can easily remove. Like this payment method depends
can you
on.
delete demo payment method, please? And also
easily you can delete.
If I delete it gets that, time. No.
Yeah, let's just blow it up.
If I delete it, there's no class depends on that. Also, I can easily remove that. Also, I can check my tie logs.
Yeah, can you show it on a tie dashboard also?
Okay, I can show you. Watch my file. It says the file changed because I deleted it, and it's rebuilt that solution, only that solution. Rebuild it, and I can check the tie dashboard. You will see. I can make it bigger. You can see a payment service is restarted once because I made a change, and it will be restarted. So my public web application here awaits the change. I refresh that page, and you will see there's
Wow, it's still
payment
working.
method missing. I have only one.
We haven't restarted the web application. It just
Yeah.
Payment
that, yeah.
service just started. Yeah, this is the awesome feature of Thai project type. Also, I can just revert that change. Okay. I can undo, and yeah, I have demo payment method again. So it builds again. Okay. Let's continue with PayPal, because this is already implemented a real case. If I click that button, complete button, it will create an order, as I said before, and also it will create an payment request, and it started it. It will start that payment request. 3 of operations will be done if I hit that button. Let's hit that button. Yeah, I think payment source isn't ready.
Now it's blown up.
yet. Okay,
No, it's still working.
okay, it's ready. It's restarted again because I reverted my changes again.
It's a live
Okay.
show. Something needs to blow up.
It's a live show, yes, it must. Okay. I can show you all operations are done. It must be created an order. Let's check.
Please explain
order.
what is this DBVir for?
This is an open source
the-
universal database manager.
we can check the databases in here.
Yeah, I am using checking database. It's universal. It supports multiple databases.
You are showing PostgreSQL databases now. We have 4 PostgreSQL databases in the solution.
Yeah,
For
our forum
administration, identity.
forum services use that PostgreSQL. I cannot make it bigger, or maybe I can use Zoom feature. Okay, I'm not.
Okay, every microservice has its own database.
Yeah.
Its own database. And you can see my order is created with a waiting status. I cannot make it bigger, but I can read for you. It's waiting status. It's created, and its payment method is PayPal. Okay, but in the payment database, we have to see that we have a payment request. Let's make the schemas and payment request. We use data. Yeah, we have also a new payment request with status waiting. State waiting. It's an enum, so we can see only integer number in database, but 0 means waiting. Status is waiting because I haven't made a payment yet. I'm waiting in PayPal page. This is also sandbox, PayPal sandbox, because I cannot pay 1,200 USD in a demo.
Just for demonstration.
Just for demo, I cannot pay that. This is a sandbox environment. Also, you can configure it for production, but we are using sandbox for right now. Just make the payment, and you will see PayPal will redirect to my web application, public web application again, with a token, but we couldn't see that token because it's redirected to order received page. I can show you where is the page. Yeah, payment completed page. In that case, we are redirecting to payment completed page with token parameter, but we haven't seen that before because we redirected again in here. Redirect to page, order receive page, we have redirected again. So we couldn't see the parameter, but PayPal sends the token parameter to validate our payment. We're sending that token directly to our payment service. This is a app service, which Galip mentioned before. We're injecting app service from payment solution. We exactly and directly send that token to our payment service, and payment service returns the result, the payment request, the last state of payment request, and we can check it. Is it completed or not? If it's completed, okay, order received. If it's not, we just return the same page with exception, because it will create an exception, it will throw an exception. This is the payment logic. If I check it before in my database, just refresh it. Yeah, you can see my state is 1 right now. 1 means, okay, completed. and I can check it.
And you have also order ID as an extra field.
Yeah, exactly. Order ID is placed here. This payment is related with that order ID. Sorry, the second one, that order ID. Okay, I can check that order ID. Or what about? So I couldn't see. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah,
You
it's
can
very
see
small. I can
it's
skip.
completed. Yeah.
We can skip that part because it's very
Okay.
small and hard
Okay,
to
it's
see.
also related with our payment ID. We duplicate data if when it's required. So you can see that order as paid in my orders page. For continuing here, from here, the next step is observing given orders. And also I can see my orders here in my user account page. But I can see something different, something not familiar filtering. But I can see something strange in my query string. For example, M1, okay, maybe it's a standard. But if I change the filter, you will see another string, this just strings. How we handle that, Galip? Can you explain us about this filter?
Yeah, we can
Okay,
talk about if Halil can pass me the screen.
Okay,
Yeah.
just take that
Okay.
from here.
Let's quickly talk about a simple
Yeah,
stuff
we can
about
quickly skip
filtering.
that part. Yeah, quickly mention about that part because it's not related to microservice, but it's
Yeah,
related
not
to, I think, the domain-driven design.
exactly. Yeah, this is a very base case about filtering stuff. We have an order filter, as we have seen from the query parameter. It makes a request to a query parameter from the query parameter to the ordering service. Where we do it is most of the people knows but they don't use is where we demonstrated how to use a specification pattern. We as an ABP have already we have a library simpling to simple things for you. And we just create a specification from the filter. It can be a dynamic filter, so if you just change from the query, if you change it to 6 months or 18 months, it will just create a specific dynamic specification for it. And from the specification is just executed to get the data from the Postgre database from the ordering service and returns the related data. This is a very simple specification pattern there. You've also seen the strategy pattern we have implemented for payment methods. And this is the fancy stuff, the last of
Got
our...
it. Maybe I can show that from my presentation. I thought that I can show that, yeah, from my presentation.
Yeah.
Is it okay for you?
Okay, we appreciate it.
You are the boss.
No,
You are the boss.
don't say like that.
No.
Okay, I will.
Just kidding.
Sorry. Okay, you remember that when we change a product price from the back office application, we have seen that it's propagated to all the clients and automatically refresh it real time for their Sorry?
You couldn't see your screen right now?
Sorry. It's okay now?
It works.
Yes.
Okay, sorry for that. Yeah, as you remember that in the beginning of this session, we have shown that when we change a product price in the back office application, we have seen that in the public web application where the user has added items to their basket, the basket items has been automatically refreshed and in real time. So I want to show how that happened because we have some distributed event bus here, SignalR connection, some proxy, some API gateways in the play, and also ABP some dynamic C# and JavaScript proxy features. Now let's see the flow. So I will not show the source code. You can see source code from the open source repository, but it's important to understand how that happens from the big picture. Okay, everything starts from the admin UI. This is an Angular application. It can call API gateway as via REST call. Here we have used ABP's Angular client proxies, so we can easily perform REST calls to the API gateway from the Angular application. This API gateway is configured so that it redirects all catalog service requests to catalog service microservice with the Ocelos routing configuration. It updates the PostgreSQL database for the product change. Then automatically publish an event to RabbitMQ about that product change. ABP can automatically publish events for an entity when you just configure it with a one line. Then when that product is updated, deleted, or a new product is created, ABP can automatically publish events to RabbitMQ. So any client can consume this event from RabbitMQ by
but
implementing.
It is not a default behavior, right? Auto event publishing is not a default behavior. We need to activate it. We need to configure it for the entity manually.
Yeah, we should configure it manually because we may not need to all events, and there is no need to make the RabbitMQ busy unnecessarily. If you want to publish automatical events for product, you just configure it one line in the catalog service, then it automatically publish events when you use repository pattern or directly work with DB context to update your entities. Anyway, ABP published events, and also you can see in the source code the basket service has an event handler here that automatically subscribes to RabbitMQ with ABP's distributed event bus system. Then it handles the product change event and invalidates the cache. As I mentioned before, basket service caches product information. It's in local Redis. In that way, it do not frequent the request to catalog service. In this case, it is not refreshing the cache actually. It's just invalidating. That means deleting from cache. In the next request, it will get from the catalog service again. Anyway, so in here, basket service has no knowledge about the about Signaler actually, because it's in the web layer, so it cannot send a message to clients. So it publishes another event that's named basket changed event or basket product changed event. I don't remember. You can see in the source code. Anyway, it publishes another event that is handled by the web application. That's an MVC application which is registering to RabbitMQ for the product basket changes, and it's connected to clients through Signaler WebSocket connection. So the JavaScript Signaler client here is actually the web application. So until that point, the admin UI change is reflected to end user's browser through gateways and event bus. So with the Signaler connection, web application pushes and method pushes an event to JavaScript client, and the JavaScript client checks if this product is included in my basket, then it refreshes the basket automatically. So it makes a JavaScript call to web application. It's redirected to basket service, and then basket service can obtain catalog product information from the catalog service if necessary. Then cache the product information in Redis and returns back to the JavaScript client. In that way, a change in the Angular UI about a product price or product information is reflected to client end users baskets automatically in real time. Just I wanted to show a graphic about that. Okay, Galip, you can continue. I'm taking your screen.
I think that's all now. This was the last topic we were talking, and since we are now our end of time, we can we have
10 more minutes. We can get questions. Let me check the questions.
Can you redirect to the page? What was that YouTube stuff that you just get the banner? Question banner.
Yeah, we have banner right now.
Yeah, we have question.
Moderator powers, if you can use them. I'll just get the easy questions and redirect the hard ones to you.
Okay, I will show a question. I'm checking
Yeah.
from the beginning. Yeah, one question was PostgreSQL is shared for all services or just per service? I also already answered that.
No, we use
Also, I showed
PostgreSQL.
it. Separated
Each
databases.
microservice has its own database. Have 3 or 4 of them are PostgreSQL. One of them is MongoDB. You can change to anyone. Related
Okay,
or
one
non-
question was any Docker support? ABP has no built-in Docker support yet.
Yeah.
You may use Docker in your own applications, but ABP doesn't help about that, but doesn't have
I'm
any
not
problem
even
with
sure
Docker.
if it fits perfectly. Docker is some kind of sidecar architecture, and I'm not completely sure if it fits perfectly. But we can make more research about it, but not at the moment. No.
Okay, how can we authenticate the user of specific tenant from Swagger UI? Actually, Swagger UI redirects you to the login page, the standard login page of the account module. That means if you enable multi-tenancy, you will see the tenant change box, so you can change to any tenant, switch to any tenant,
Yes.
and log in with this tenant.
You will come up the same account login page.
What is the planned release date of eShopOnAbp? Galip, can you?
You mean release date? I don't know if there is a release date, but if you mean as a release, if we will just publish it on some Azure, for example, on Azure Kubernetes cluster as a not production but a staging environment.
I think
what you mean?
it's already available and it's
already available.
It's already working. You can just see, but we will continue to improve it.
Maybe we can show our roadmap. We have completed some of the stuff, and we also added new ones, such as switching one of the endpoints to Envoy, to gateway to Envoy.
Okay, a question about Castle Windsor, which was used in the previous ABP, ASP.NET boilerplate. We don't use Castle Windsor, so there is no problem related to that library in the ABP framework. I can say that.
We use Autotech. If you will have problems with it, it would be related with Autotech.
Well, that one question was related Ocelot configs.
Yeah, we have already answered that.
Do you have a timeline on Envoy integration?
Yeah, we don't, not exact date, but we are planning very soon to integrate Envoy, switch Ocelot to Envoy in public web gateway.
Yeah, it should not be hard actually. We are not using much Ocelot features, just simple configuration. Envoy should work. Can we force all
service call to gateway instead of internal service? Yes, we can use internal gateway. We already, I think, had internal gateway at the beginning. If you check the history of the repository, it's very simple. You can just create your own internal gateway as well, and you make the routing between the services, such as I have shown from catalog, from basket to catalog. If you set as a default to the internal gateway, it will just redirect to internal gateway.
Yeah, it can be usable, but in the first implementation, we had used internal gateway. So all microservices was communicating through the internal gateway, but we have removed it because we see that it's unnecessary, especially if you are using Kubernetes, for example. The load balancing between services is automatically handled by the container orchestration.
Local namespace, local DNS.
There is a different question. It's not related to microservice actually, but in micro frontends, it is possible.
Yeah, I can answer it. If we had designed the public web as a not MVC but an Angular application, we were thinking and talking about using some Angular new features about micro frontends. But at the moment, since we are using public web application as an MVC, No, we are using simple. We are using our developments about the UI in the public.
Yeah, we haven't implemented micro frontends in this solution, but it should be possible with ABP. Why not?
Both Angular, both MVC, it's possible.
Yeah, it should be possible. Okay, a good question about asking if RabbitMQ loses message before completing a process. This is actually solved with the previous ABP version, ABP 5. We have released outbox pattern implementation, transactional outbox pattern implementation with the ABP 5. So that means you are publishing a message to RabbitMQ in the same transaction with your actual database operation. So if RabbitMQ cannot receive the message properly, the transaction is rolled back, so end user will try again. So you don't lose any message like that. Docker integration asked already. Interesting question. Does API gateway support request queue for actually this is API gateway feature.
Load balancer should do it. Load balancer,
I'm not
load balancer's job.
Perfectly sure, but it must be related. Either Ocelot has a configuration related with it, or if we are using, let's say, Envoy should have configuration related to it. We didn't come across any problem related with it, so we don't know yet.
There is a long question I want to try to understand. Is there any
you can read louder, so...
Actually, yeah. The question was actually what we have done. MVC UI is updated actually. We have changed a price in the Angular UI and a back office application. Then the change is reflected to MVC UI automatically via signaler connection. This is actually what's already done. There is a thanks message from Mohammed Rashid. This is the first time I see a real and complete implementation microservice. Thank you very much, Mohammed.
Thank you very much.
We will work on that more to be a real implementation. We are trying to make it real. So we have implemented real PayPal integration, for example, and it's actually production ready. When if you want to compare with eShopOnContainers example of Microsoft, when you see its source code, you will see there are a lot of comments that this is not production ready. You shouldn't use such a logic in production. This is just experimental, demonstrating process, and so on. But this implementation is production ready because ABP is production ready. We have used only production ready features, so it's a complete and real application.
Also, let me add there is no database integration with payment service in eShopOnContainers. We have something different about it.
One question from Anil is, what is your plan for gRPC? Will it replace RabbitMQ entirely?
Yeah, I think I can answer it this way. We have a roadmap that we are planning to integrate or check how we can do it with gRPC. So if we move from Ocelot to Envoy in public web gateway, we will try to integrate gRPC for catalog microservices. What you mean about replacing RabbitMQ is, I'm guessing, about the duplex scenario where you real-time connection. No, there is nothing related with it.
I think there is a misunderstanding about that because gRPC doesn't replace RabbitMQ. gRPC is for synchronous communication. Actually, RabbitMQ is for asynchronous communication. They are not actually replacement of each other. So we may replace REST API calls with gRPC. That can be the question. And
maybe RabbitMQ can be replaced.
We will not replace actually. I believe that REST API calls, HTTP APIs call is still has its own usage, and gRPC can be an alternative for inter-microservice communication in some cases, especially if all the microservice is built with the team working together in the same company. It can be in some cases, maybe in most cases, gRPC would be better for inter-microservice communication. We will add an example of that in the solution later. When should we use the simple startup template? Actually, it will be ready in a few weeks because it's very simple, it's very easy. You could also do it from scratch, just creating from a new ASP.NET Core application and install ABP package. This is what we have already done.
Also, we have an article about it.
You can use that now, but with MVC UI and the framework core options only. I think in a few weeks it will be more ready. Could you provide in the future some sort of tutorial for migrating the old ASP.NET 0 DDD application to microservice approach? No, we don't think about writing such a guide from ASP.NET 0 to microservice. It's a big step actually. We may but create articles from migrating a monolith ABP application to microservice application. It's much more reasonable, especially if your monolith application was designed as modular, because ABP's modular logic is like that. The module is actually developed as microservice ready. You can just host a module without any code change as a microservice. So there are some thank you messages. We are coming to end. 1.5 hour completed. Another thank you message from Recep. Thank you very much, everybody. We had a good attention again in this week, and actually we are very happy about that. And in the next month, we will have other meetups like that. And if we need, and if we get attention and requests from community, we may organize more events in the same months, because we have a lot of topics in the backlog to talk, and there are a lot of features and topics related to ABP framework and enterprise application development. And also we are thinking about about taking some .NET guys, maybe not directly related to ABP framework, but .NET from .NET community to our stand-up show, we can say like that, as a guest. So we may have some talks about general .NET in addition to ABP related topics. We will see that. Thank you very much. I'm closing.
Thank you very much for attending.
Thank you for your
Thanks a lot.
attention.
Okay, bye-bye, everybody. See you in the next talk.
See you on the next talk.